And we're back. Is my audio okay? I had to have coffee. I'm so sorry, you guys, that I'm 43 minutes late. Hi, Dawn.
Hello again.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Long time no see. For everybody who did not watch the previous stream on Ukraine versus Russia or Russia versus Ukraine, I don't get it. A little update on me. My eardrum busted, so I have trouble hearing on the right side. I put my dad to hospital on Friday. He's not good. He's in intensive care and they don't really know what's going on. Yeah, it's just a waiting game, wait and see. They do perform tests on him. He couldn't breathe. It has nothing to do with COVID. But I'm not vaccinated, still not vaccinated, so I'm not allowed to go in. So I'm in front of the hospital basically on the phone. So my mom can go in. She's vaccinated fully. Still have to have a test to go in. So she went in, and yeah, my dad has a single room in intensive care. And the people who are in intensive care, just to tell you a little story about it, are divided by glass walls. And my mom came out the day that was Saturday, and she said, "Oh my God, don't ever say that, COVID is," because I always say, COVID for a healthy person should be okayish to fight off. Your body should be able to fight off. And she said to me, next to Dad, behind a glass wall, there's a young man fighting for his life with COVID. And she said she has never seen anything like it. So that made me think a lot. Yeah, it's very, very sad that people as young as he was, I mean, I don't know if he had any health issues beforehand, but it's very sad that there are still people, young people, obviously healthy people, who cannot fight this off. And that scares me. So, yeah, don't take this lightly. I'm not taking it lightly anymore, and I have not seen this guy. But my mom was very distraught when she came out of hospital. Yeah, but sad, very sad. I'm sorry to hear that, Rachel. I'm praying. Oh my God. I'm very sorry to hear that, Rachel. I send you much love and light your way, in your sister's way. Sorry. Yeah, so what are we gonna do today? We're gonna talk about, thank you, Annie, for joining. We're gonna talk a little bit about the plea agreement that Chris Watts took. Dawn, that's a message for you. Thank you for your presentation. Yeah, I found that quite impressive too, because like I said, I have no clue about politics or anything like that. I'm just simply not interested in it because I think they all lie. So, yeah, back to Watts. I'm going to be talking about the plea agreement a little bit today. I'm going to read through the plea agreement with you guys. And let's see if we can find, hi Dave, if we can find some flaws. And let's just discuss. As we all know, and I'm going to share my screen, gonna stop my camera. As we all know, there was a deal going on between the defense and the DA's office. So thanks to Netflix, we have a little screen capture of the actual email address. It's not email address, but email itself was written on August the 26th at 11:56 a.m. to Steve Bren from John Walsh. The subject, Chris Watts. It reads, Dear Detective Wren, I didn't know he was a detective. The defendant, Christopher Watts, is willing to agree to waive his right to be indicted and to plead guilty to all charges of first-degree murder charges if our office is willing to remove the possibility of the death penalty. Best, John Walsh. First of all, it is not uncommon that the defense offers or is drafting a plea agreement if they feel like there's no way their client is gonna get out of this, right? So, but August the 26th, they did not even have all the footage back by then. They did not have the data from the phones back by then. They did not have anything. And also, what we know is that the defense was quite keen on fighting this for Chris. And they also said, you know what, if you want to go with Shanann killed the girls, we can. You know, that was the discussion he had with his defense. There was also a report of yelling and screaming and crying, and Chris saying, I am not going to confess to something I did not do. I did not kill my children. Right? So, with this, like I said, it's not uncommon if the defense thinks, you know, there's absolute proof that my client did this. And before they go for the death penalty, I try to strike a deal and just write to them. So, what I was thinking, and this is my personal opinion on this, I think John Walsh wanted to be part of the DA. And there was probably a job offered. And basically, I have the feeling that every single one of them profited in some shape or form. The police departments profited, CBI, FBI, his defense by, you know, now working for the DA, and also the DA with Rourke, obviously, because they could close that case within 2 days, 3 days, right? So, like I said, it's just my personal opinion. I just think that this was, I wouldn't say coerced, but there was some stuff going on, right? How can they say on the 26th of August, when there was no proof of anything, like really no proof other than what Chris Watts said, to offer them a deal? So, in my personal opinion, I think there was something going on like, oh, we have a job to offer. If you can get him to sign that agreement, you might be good for life or whatever. But like I said, just my personal opinion. All right, what did he sign actually? Let's look at this. Just hang on a second. Here I have it. I gotta check if you guys can see it. There you go. So this is the written waiver and guilty plea. And I cannot see chat now. Sorry. Can you still see it? Yeah. All right. So this went through from the defense to the district attorney. And they said in American Murder on Netflix, they said, yeah, well, we had to go through it and discuss if we can even take this on. Like they offered us the plea. And I mean, absolutely being honest, there's nothing better that could have happened to them, right? They did not have to spend any more money. They did not have to investigate anyone else. Everybody kind of profited from this. So let's read through. First, I am the defendant in this case. Second, I have had enough time to talk to my lawyer about this case, and she has discussed the evidence against me. I have fully explained my side to him or her. Okay, what evidence are we talking? What evidence was there until August the 26th, 11:56 a.m.? What evidence did they actually have up until then? Right? Nothing. No data was prepared. It was actually, I read that today in the Discovery, reread that. It was actually only in October that all the data stuff came through and the technician drafted that timeline. That's totally wrong. But yeah, that was not before October. So have they discussed the evidence up until October? I don't think so. They had meetings with the Frederick Police Department, the DA had, but not the defense. So how can they be so sure on August the 26th, drafting a plea agreement, providing that to the district attorney's office in hopes that they will take that in exchange of not putting him to death? I mean, up until the 26th of August, what evidence was there that would justify someone being put to death? And also, on the Thursday, he was arrested. Then they waited the Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday, and within 3 or 4 days, Tammy Lee's husband was quite good posting on Facebook and all that stuff. The media reported he had confessed to killing everyone, which he actually never did up until the Wisconsin interview. So what did they have until 26th of August? Nothing. So I have fully explained my side to him or her. Chris Watts said he had explained everything and he told the truth to his lawyers. But still, even if he says, I did it all, there still needs to be evidence to convict somebody in case it comes to trial. So who and what did they have in mind for this to not going to trial, right? Third, I believe that the district attorney has enough evidence to convict me at trial. Did he really believe that? I mean,
No.
up until the 26th of August, what evidence did they have? No evidence. They released the crime scene, which they thought is a crime scene, Saratoga Trail, even before Shanann was recovered. So, no. And what I want to know is, what did they present to him? Because on the 26th or the 27th, if you look into the jail logs, he was visited by his defense attorney 3 times that day. So what did they discuss? What did his defense attorney put on the table to convince him to take that agreement?
May,
Sorry?
May I say something?
Of course.
So, in my opinion, we know what the district attorney told him. It should be the same thing that he invoked in front of the judge. I mean lies. Only lies and fabrications.
Right.
That is this. Yes, he was duped. He was led to believe they have a lot of evidence when in fact they had nothing. Maybe some witness came forward, NK or somebody else. But
Exactly. Yeah, I'm getting to this as well.
sure.
So that's a good point, Truth Seeker last name. I thought CW's lawyers didn't even have the discovery at this time. Exactly. And neither had the judge. So very, very weird. I am satisfied that my plea of guilty in this case is in my best interest. Really? I mean, didn't his defense say, if you want us to go with Shanann killed the girls lie kind of thing, we will. So this is in your best interest. Yelling and screaming, telling them I'm not going to confess to killing my children because I didn't, and then take it anyway. So what went on? Bombshell information girl came in between or something? I understand that I have the right to exercise any or all of the following rights, even against my lawyer's advice. A. The right to remain silent about this case. B. The right to have my lawyer represent me and be present with me during any conferences or questioning by anyone about this case, at all court hearings and at trial. C. The right to plead not guilty and have a jury trial. And D. The right to appeal my case to a higher court if I'm convicted at trial. Do you see what's going on here? At trial, at trial, at trial. They knew if he takes that plea, there won't be any trial. So they kind of, in my opinion, tricked him. Right? He has the right to plead not guilty and have a jury trial, and the right to appeal my case to a higher court if I am convicted at trial. Yes, he can still appeal. 6. I understand that the right to a jury trial includes A. The right to help select the jury. B. The right to confront witnesses who testify against me and to have my lawyer cross-examine them about their testimony. C. The right to be presumed innocent unless and until the district attorney proves my guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. So what is he then? Was it proven beyond a reasonable doubt? In my personal opinion, it wasn't, because there are so many questions still need answers. D. The right to have my lawyer call witnesses to testify for me if I want, and, if necessary, to have the judge order witnesses to come to court. This is why I made that, I reposted the live stream, the premiere on Did What's Even Have Real Friends? So who would have came forward to witness or to testify in favor of Chris Watts at trial? Who would have? And this is, we need to take this into consideration as well. So mitigating circumstances, obviously, His family would have spoken for him. Maybe a couple of friends, but that's about it. 7. I have read and understand the elements of the charge or charges that I am pleading guilty to, as shown in the attached sheets. 8. I have read and understand the possible penalties that I could be sentenced to, which are shown on the attached sheets. 9. My plea is freely, intelligently, and voluntarily given. I know that I am giving up all the rights described above. I understand these rights. I am giving up these rights and pleading guilty of my own free will. No one has pressured me or tried to make me plead guilty against my will. I have not decided to plead guilty because of anything I have been told except for the agreements shown on the attached sheets. So, if your lawyer comes to you into jail and says, you have to take this plea agreement, otherwise they're gonna put you to death. And you screaming and yelling, no, I'm not going to plead guilty to something I did not do. I did not kill my children. Does that sound freely, intelligently, and voluntarily? Or did they put him in under some sort of pressure because they were saying, you know what, they're gonna put you to death? And given the fact that Chris Watts never had anything to do with law or, jail or whatever, he did not know how that works. And it was already on the table that they're gonna abolish the death penalty. So, with not telling him that, they would have, in my personal opinion, never convicted him in a trial based on the evidence that were released, based on the evidence we know. I don't know what else they have, obviously. But based on what we saw, do you guys think that a jury would have convicted him and possibly put him to death for something, for this crime? Do you think that? I don't think so. I understand that the record may be further supplemented by police reports, affidavits, or other documentation attached or provided at the time of sentencing. I understand that I am not a citizen, that if I am not a citizen of the United States, this guilty plea may cause collateral consequences, including but not limited to deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States, or denial of naturalization. In other words, there are some, Germany, for example, if you are committing a crime in the United States where the death penalty is still in place, and you are a German citizen, that's just for example, they will basically buy you out because it goes against standards. And in Germany, it's not, the death penalty is abolished for a long time. And if you are subject to be potentially put to death, they will deport you back to your home country. Which they didn't actually in one case of Dieter Riechmann. He was sentenced to death in Florida. And the Germans did say, nah, we're not taking him back. But then they converted his sentence to life imprisonment and they kept him. So 12. I understand that following the sentencing in this matter, I have, in certain circumstances, the right to appeal review of my conviction and sentence. A notice of appeal must be filed within 7 weeks or 49 days of the sentence. I also understand that if I'm determined, and this is the thing, 49 days he had time, right, to appeal. And we all know when he went out in the corridor of the courtroom and Kay was sitting there and smirking at him. And we were told that he wanted to go back in the courtroom to come clean or whatever. And his defense attorney said, nah, it's too late. But he actually had 49 days or 7 weeks, right? I have the right to the assistance of appointed counsel upon the review of my conviction and sentence, and the right to obtain a record on appeal without payment of costs. Additionally, I understand that I may have the right to seek post-conviction reduction of my sentence in the trial court within 18 weeks or 126 days of the imposition of sentence pursuant to CRIMP 35P, whatever that is. So he can obtain all the records and everything he needs to appeal this case without payment of costs. So that's good. 13, I have read this form and understand it. My lawyer has answered all my questions to my satisfaction. Well, none of us was there when they read or explained this waiver to him, right? So we cannot really say what did his defense attorney tell him. He might have just told him, they're going to put you to death no matter what, or, if you don't take that plea, then everything is too late. So, attorney signed on the 5th, and the district attorney signed it on the 6th. So here you see, this was put in front of Chris Watts on the 5th, and same day, same date, his defense attorney signed this. A day later, whoever that is, Michael, is that Rook's signature? Weird. Okay. The defendant objects to the disposition of the evidence in this case. Subsequent disposition of any preserved evidence shall be pursuant to the provisions of CRS, whatever that is. Do you see? The box is not ticked. So the defendant objects. He didn't object because otherwise that box would have been ticked. To the disposition of the evidence in this case. So what are they gonna destroy, evidence-wise? I think they tricked him. But that's my personal opinion. So why is this box not ticked? Because they wanted to make sure that he's really having a hard time to appeal or get evidence if needed. Because if that was, that wasn't ticked, so they can say, oh, well, we don't have that evidence anymore, or it's destroyed, or it's lost, or whatever, right? So this is quite bad. So the elements. Count 1, murder in the first degree, felony 1, class 1. On or about the 13th day of August 2018, in the county of Weld, state of Colorado, Christopher Lee Watts unlawfully, feloniously, after deliberation, and with the intent to cause the death of a person other than himself, caused the death of Shanann Watts. After deliberation means not only intentionally, but also the decision to commit the act has been made after the exercise of reflection and judgment concerning the act. In other words, premeditation. An act committed after deliberation is never one which has been committed in a hasty or impulsive manner. So, what did he say? He said he snapped. That was his first confession, that he killed her in a fit of rage. So now they're saying in that plea agreement he did all that premeditation, and an act committed after deliberation is never one which has been committed in a hasty or impulsive manner. I was watching something today and they were explaining what's really considered premeditation and what isn't. And I was told if they put that in an agreement or a waiver, he basically also admits to not, freaking out or whatever. So not in an effect. He killed her not in an effect or in an argument or stuff like that. So they are saying basically he planned this. Committing a crime in a hasty or impulsive manner is also a mitigating circumstance if it comes to trial. So keep that in mind. 7. With intent, a person acts intentionally or with intent when this conscious objective is to cause the specific result prescribed by the statute defining the offense. It is immaterial whether or not the result actually occurred. Person, a human being who had been born and was alive at the time of the homicidal act. Count 2, murder in the first degree. Same thing. To cause the death of a person other than himself caused the death of Bella Watts. After deliberation means not only intentionally, but also the decision to commit the act has been made after the exercise of reflection and judgment concerning the act.
Tanya,
Yeah.
sorry. Number one is different. The date.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I oversaw that. Between and including the 13th day of August 2018 and the 13th day of August 2018. So, thank you, Dawn. By saying that, they're not even sure when the girls were killed. So how can they say they walked out of that garage, or one of them walked out of the garage? It's not sure. They weren't sure. And do you guys really think that one of these technicians ever looked at this footage? If they did not even have the data of the phone extracted by October, I think it was, middle of October. What do you think, Dawn?
I think that we looked at that footage millions of times better than them.
Absolutely. Well, like I said a million times before, I just don't see the shadow of a child. I see the shadow of something, but to me it doesn't. It just I would have to need definite proof that And what I also wanted to show you, but I didn't get to it given the circumstances in my life at the moment, I found something in the discovery that's quite interesting. They did have actually footage of a neighbor, and they had that neighbor actually did give them his camera footage, and it's also on DVD or on CD, but we never got to see that. So I really want to know what that is. Maybe Plunder can file another lawsuit. So, anyway, between and including the 12th day of August, and also keep in mind what we find or what I find. I don't know if Dave and Don are sharing my opinion, but it is not really proven that the girls ever got home after the birthday party, right?
Yes,
Because we have his router logs, and he did not log back into his home network before 9 p.m. So that's kind of weird. And this is the last time we see the last time we know he has his personal phone is at the birthday party, because he's sending um, photos and messages and talking to NK while at the birthday party. But into the router, actually, only his work phone logs in. Never his personal phone up until he gets home from work or from the field on the 13th. Same with Celeste. Between and including the 12th day of August and the 13th day of August in the county of Weld, state of Colorado, he unlawfully, feloniously, after deliberation and with the intent to cause the death of a person other than himself. With intent, big letters, with intent, with intent. But they couldn't even prove that, right? So, count 4, murder in the first degree. This is when it comes to many people asking, he killed 3 people or 4 people, if you include Nico. But he was, charged with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 counts of murder. That's because that's a child under the age of 12 in Colorado, which makes you eligible for the death penalty. I think in Texas it's the age of 6 and under, and in Colorado it's the age of 12 and under. So I don't know why they really mentioned that again if the death penalty was off the table. So Christopher Lee Watts unlawfully, feloniously, and knowingly caused the death of Bella Watts, a child who had not yet attained 12 years. There it is. Had not yet attained 12 years of age, and the defendant was in a position of trust with respect to the victim. Knowingly, a person acts knowingly with respect to conduct or to a circumstance described by a statute defining an offense when he is aware that his conduct is of such nature or that such circumstance exists. A person acts knowingly with respect to a result of this conduct when he is aware that his conduct is practically certain to cause the result. So, knowingly, he basically knows that what he does is going to cause death. Position of trust. Once in a position of trust includes any person who is a parent or acting in the place of a parent and charged with any of the parent's rights, duties, or responsibilities concerning a child, or a person who is charged with any duty or responsibility for the health, education, welfare, or supervision of a child, including foster care, child care, or family care, or institutional care, either independently or through another, no matter how brief at the time of the unlawful act. So basically, if you're in a position of trust to a child, this is the position of trust. So they trusting you, they go with you, they do whatever you say.
Yes,
Same,
they are punishing the abuse of trust.
exactly. So count 6. Same with CC, by the way. Count 6. Unlawful termination of pregnancy in the first degree. And that's a felony 2, class 2. On or about the 13th day of August 2018 in the County of Weld, State of Colorado, Christopher Lee Watts, with the intent to terminate unlawfully the pregnancy of a woman, namely Shanann Watts, feloniously and unlawfully terminated the pregnancy of the woman. So, with the intent to terminate unlawfully the pregnancy of a woman. So, with other words, he knows by killing her, the child, the unborn child, would die too. So, this is the intent to terminate unlawfully the pregnancy of a woman. Some people mix that up with, you know, that he killed her, or he aborted the baby, and that caused the death of the woman. But it's explained quite easy and simple here. Further, the woman died as a result of the unlawful termination of the pregnancy. Further, that doesn't mean that's included in that. With intent, a person acts intentionally or with intent when his conscious objective to cause the specific result prescribed by the statute defining the offense. So that does not mean anything other than by killing her, he knows that the baby is going to die. Pregnancy means the presence of an implanted human embryo or fetus within the uterus of a woman. Unlawful termination of pregnancy means the termination of a to act on her behalf has been obtained, or for which the pregnant woman's consent is implied by law. So it's pretty easy explained, isn't it? What that means, kind of, because people thinking, and I was thinking that too, and that he basically aborted or whatever the baby, and this caused her death. But when you read it, it's like, no, this is not exactly what it means, right? Count 7. Tampering with a deceased human body. And this is what he all basically agreed to, that this is what happened, basically, right? So on or about the 13th day of August 2018 in the County of Weld, State of Colorado, Christopher Lee Watts, believing that an official proceeding was pending, in progress, or about to be instituted, and acting without legal right or authority, unlawfully and feloniously, willfully destroyed, mutilated, concealed, removed, or altered a human body, part of a human body, or human remains. So this is quite an an overview of everything, and this is how you gotta understand it, an overview of what it could mean, that charge. Same with the termination of the pregnancy. This could mean all of that. but he did not mutilate or destroy her body. He, concealed. He hid it.
Concealed.
Yeah, he removed it or altered a human body, part of a human body, or human remains, with intent to impair its or their appearance or availability in the official proceedings. He hid it. Yeah, he buried Shanann and he hid the girls or put the girls in the tanks. Official proceedings means a proceeding heard before any legislative why is that so? Judicial, administrative, or other government agency or official authorized to hear evidence under oath, including any magistrate, hearing examiner, commissioner, notary, or other person taking testimony or depositions in any such proceedings. 7. With intent. A person acts intentionally or with intent when his conscious objective is to cause the specific result prescribed by the statute defining the offense. It is immaterial whether or not the result actually occurred. So, same as with the murder charge. So, who is he? Count 8,
Yes, it is not mentioned at count 7, 8, and probably 9. Who is referring to?
What do you mean?
I see no name. Tampering with a deceased human body, but they don't mention who is about.
Yes, they don't mention it. Count 8, 9. No, they don't. I did not
Very
even
fun.
see that. I was looking like, where does it say Shanann? Where does it say
No,
Bella? No, nothing.
it's copy
So we
paste.
have 1 for Shanann's body, 2 for Bella's, 3 for CC's, obviously. Yeah, same text. What did I ask you? I don't know what you mean. I just looked at chat, Dave. I don't see chat when I'm reading. So the penalties. And they put the penalties and the maximum sentence, of course, because back then the death penalty, it was discussed to abolish and they all agreed to abolish, but it wasn't, it was still in place. So in case he would have changed his mind, I think if they would have said, if they would have taken out the maximum sentence as death, he might have changed his mind. But I think he was terrified. So count 1, murder in the first degree, felony 1, class 1, is the minimum sentence is life in prison without parole. The maximum sentence is death. Then you have here 2 more murder charges. And as I explained, it's because it's a child in a position of trust. So, and under the age of 12. So the minimum sentence is life in prison without parole. The maximum is sentence is death. Count 6, unlawful termination of pregnancy in the first degree, felony 2. 16 to 48 years. He got 48 years. Confinement with the Colorado Department of Corrections. A sentence to the Department of Corrections requires an additional mandatory parole period of 5 years for crimes committed prior to July 1st, 2018, and 3 years for crimes committed after July 1st, 2018. A fine of from 5,000 to 1 million may be assessed in addition or in lieu of any sentence of imprisonment. So 1 million. How much did they the Ruseks 6 million, wasn't it? So let's say, take into consideration what they did with Nico. They basically got him from the coroner's table, right? From the medical examiner's table, took him away right away. So how can they say, given the fact and given the circumstances of Shanann mentioning she's spotting, she's not feeling well, NA saying, we had to stay in the hotel lobby because all of a sudden she felt so ill, not feeling well at all day. How can they say actually, what I'm interested in to know is how can they say that Nico was dead when Shanann was killed, or Nico died when Shanann was killed? How can they say that for sure? We don't know that, do we? So if it would have came out that he probably might be already deceased, that would knock 48 years off right then and there, right? But also that is not really proven. I mean, let's just think for a second. This guy or the doctor from the ultrasound clinic called in CBI and said he had important information or medical information, and 10 minutes later, he called at 10:30, I believe. They called him back or something. It's in the discovery. I would have to look. But 10 minutes later or something, Nico was taken. So why? For genetic testing? Where are these test results? I mean, it's probably none of our business, right? But if you see the case as a whole, there, even if it didn't come to trial, shouldn't this be something that should have been proven beyond reasonable doubt that the child was the death of the child was caused by him killing Shanann? What's your opinion?
I can't pronounce myself with this. I mean, there is too little data to be able to have a good conclusion, and but
Yeah, but to charge somebody with this and to put 48 years, the maximum sentence on this, they must
yeah,
be very,
I mean,
very convinced that this child died as a result of Shanann being killed.
yes, except they didn't inform us or put that in the discovery. If I remember correctly, the Ruchek family was informed in full about that, about this fetus.
Sorry, say that again.
If I remember correctly, the Ruchek family has full information about the DNA analysis of Nico.
Yeah, the DNA, but not the genetic testing. Not that I know of.
Yeah, me neither. So yeah, they piled up everything on him, just as if that counts. It counts in terms of money. The victims, the family of the victims should receive. But when you have 5 life in prison, life sentences in prison, 12 years is nothing.
Hmm. But as we read above, he has the right to get all documents without any costs. I'm wondering
Right?
why they did not cross that out.
Yeah, by the way, do we know exactly the probable time of death of Shannon?
Mm-mm. Could not
Okay,
be determined.
okay,
Neither
I
were the
will.
kids. The age of Nico couldn't be determined either, but he knew his foot length. So
Hmm.
this is, I mean, I'm no doctor, nor am I some sort of expert on autopsies or, bodies in general, human bodies, but this is really weird. How
Yeah,
can
I
you
have.
not? It takes a simple Google search. You put in the baby foot length or the foot length of a fetus, how old, and it will give you a number. So this is just things I don't understand.
I have a small observation about the time of death, as we saw on in Shannon's case. The date is, let's say, certain, and in the case of the girls, it is uncertain. To me, at least that is my opinion. It looks like, in the absence of evidence, of forensic evidence, and as you told me, there is no probable time of death. What what are we left with, uh, other than somebody witnessed the death of Shannon and could tell exactly what happened and when? But in case of the girls, only what was present, and he didn't reveal when and what happened exactly.
Right. As they're saying on or about between the 12th and the 13th.
Yes,
So they weren't even sure.
no, because only what I think
Right.
that only him knew.
That tells me two things. First, they didn't look at the footage at all.
Oh, of
And
course.
second, they did not have any results of, or they did not look into any results of the data of the phone. None. And I don't think, I go as far to say, I don't believe they did up until today. I don't think they did. But if they had, they would have seen it. And I still believe, but that's just my opinion. Um, she was some sort NK, talking about NK, she was some sort of the driving force for Chris Watts to take that plea deal. In my opinion, he did not want to put her in the shits. Like I
To
said,
me,
I don't believe that she physically killed the children. I do not believe that, but I don't know that, right? So it's only my personal opinion. I
to
just
me,
don't
it's
I
yeah.
don't see it. But she
I
helped in some sort of, some way.
I find more important if she was present when Shannon was killed, and in my opinion, she was.
Oh, sorry, say that again. You broke up on my end.
To me, it is more important if NK was present when Shannon was killed, and I think that she was. She witnessed Shannon's death.
Why would you say that? Or what's your thoughts on this?
First of all, I saw her exiting Chris Watt's house.
Yes.
Now I can say it is NK. And if you want more proof, just look again at the footage that was revealed by Plunder. NK is wearing exactly the same outfit at that interrogatory with the outfit she had when she exited Watt's house. A black t-shirt, a black sweater, and dark blue jeans.
It's a shame that we don't see her walking in. Like I said to you before that live stream, I could not listen to the interview. I saw the video in parts, but my ear was hurting so bad. And with her voice on top of that, I just I couldn't watch it. So is there in the video, do we see her like when she gets up or walks out? Do
I
we see
have
that?
two photos to share.
Do you want to?
Just
Yeah, let me just get through this and then we can share
sure,
it away, okay?
sure, no problem.
Okay. So that's why count 4 and 5 in the murder charges. So murder in the first degree because they were children under 12. I believe in Texas it's 6 years old, so you're eligible for the death penalty if you kill a child under the age of 6. In some states it's 14, I was told. Okay. Tampering with a deceased human body, felony 3, 4 to 12 years confinement with the Colorado Department of Corrections. Sufficient mitigating circumstances may reduce the minimum to 2 years. Sufficient aggravating circumstances may increase the maximum to 24 years. A sentence to the Department of Corrections requires an additional mandatory parole period of 5 years for crimes committed prior to July 1st and 3 years for crimes committed after July 1st, 2018. A fine of from $3,000 to $750,000 may be assessed in addition of any sentence of imprisonment. Same goes with tampering with a deceased body for Bella and tampering with a deceased human body for Celeste. Now there you go. Defendant will plead guilty to all counts set forth in the complaint and information. Count 1, murder in the first degree. After deliberation, Shanann Watts. Count 2, murder in the first degree. After deliberation, Bella Watts. Count 3, murder in the first degree. After deliberation, Celeste Watts. And then count 4 and 5, murder in the first degree, child under 12. Charged both for Bella and Cici. Count 6, unlawful termination of pregnancy in the first degree, Nico. Count 7, tampering with a deceased human body. Count 8, tampering with a deceased human body. And count 9, tampering with a deceased human body. So even if she helped getting rid of the bodies, let's say, she would have gotten, what would she have gotten? 4 to 12 years. And if they have aggravating circumstances, it increased to 24 years. So she would have been 72 years in prison. For everyone who's thinking we trying to get Chris Watts out of prison, no, because even if murder charges are dropped for the kids, he will still be in prison for the rest of his life, unless there is proof that he did not do anything at all, which I don't believe. So yeah, there's that. All sentencing options on all counts are open to the court. However, in exchange for defendant's guilty pleas, the Office of the District Attorney agrees that it will not seek the death penalty. whether sentence, and that's a very, very powerful thing to state, because he's reading that, right? So, in exchange for defendant's guilty pleas, the office of the district attorney agrees that it will not seek the death penalty. And I think this is what he was most scared of. When I was, just that aside, a short story. When I was talking to a death row inmate, the youngest one on Ohio's death row, he was only 18 or barely 18 when he was sentenced to death. And he said, TJ, I thought, when the judge said they're going to sentence me to death, I thought the door is going to be open and there's an electric chair. Totally unaware of law and totally unaware of how proceedings are going to be. So this guy thought the door opens out of the courtroom and they're gonna put me to death right then and there. So he had no clue. And I think some sort of no clue. This is what Chris Watts did not have clue. Whether sentencing on separate counts run consecutive or concurrent to each other is open to the court, with the expectation that at a minimum the parties stipulate that sentencing on counts 1 through 3 and count 6 shall run consecutively as each charge references a separate victim. Defendant will not be permitted to waive a factual basis for any charge. So what that actually means is he cannot say, oh, I didn't kill the kids, and he can still the charge of tampering with a deceased human body can still be in effect, you know? So one thing does not take off the other. The parties further stipulate that the defendant will pay restitution as determined by the court, including but not limited to the expenses for funeral and burial expenses for Shanann Watts, Bella Watts, Celeste Watts, and Nico Watts. Furthermore, the defendant agrees to pay restitution covering the actual costs of specific future treatment. That means that if somebody needs, a psychiatrist, he has to pay for all this. And I was told that the funeral expenses were paid by the state. They were paid by, additionally, by Thrive, I think. But I don't know for sure. But I do know for sure that the families received money for funeral expenses from the state. Finally, the parties stipulate that the people may withdraw from this agreement if the defendant commits a new felony offense while awaiting sentencing. So that means when he's in jail and he kills somebody else, this is gonna be thrown out the window and they basically haggle around new. So this is quite interesting when it comes to what I told you above about that little box that wasn't ticked. Thank you so much, Annie. This is the evidence disposition. The defendant understands that evidence being held by law enforcement agencies in this case could contain DNA. The parties stipulate that the defendant's identification is a disputed issue. No, they know who he is. Law enforcement holds evidence that contains known DNA. No. What the fuck? Sorry, I said it. Law enforcement holds evidence that contains known DNA. No. What about the fingernail clippings? What about the skin? What about all these tests, the neck swabs? What about all of this? What about fingerprints, smear prints, thumbprints, footprints, all of the stuff they found? No? That opens, sorry for cussing, that opens the way or the door for them to destroy that stuff, right? We don't, oh no, we don't have any DNA. We don't. So how do they even know if they are not lying right here and there? How do they know that was even Shanann or the girls or Nico if they don't have any DNA?
Except that the coroner took swabs from the neck of the victims and from under the fingernails.
Absolutely.
So it's a plain lie.
Yeah. So this basically opens the door for them to destroy DNA evidence, right? Keep in mind, to be preserved for testing at a later date. Of course, he took the plea agreement. So what they actually did was they did not put any more money into testing. And this is why some stuff was being refused for testing, because they already knew he took that plea. Keep in mind that was August. Evidence that has not been tested could be subjected to a DNA test. Yes. So what actually did they test? If not things for DNA?
They tested what they didn't have.
Yeah, exactly. They tested what they didn't have. What about the bedsheet? What about the pillowcases, the residue? What about all these things? Not tested? This is ridiculous. It really is. This case includes DNA evidence that should be preserved. No. So that technician or forensic guy, he states in the discovery that there are some things that needs to be preserved to see with the smear prints, I think. And even from prints, you can try to extract DNA. Right? If a fingerprint or a thumbprint or a footprint is not that old, it's still, you're losing skin cells, and you can still try. I mean, probably, you're not going to be lucky, but you can still try and see if you can extract any DNA. So what this forensics guy did was he was testing this, but he couldn't find any match in the database. So what he said is, this will be preserved because maybe something comes up in the future, because they could not match any fingerprints or that footprint to Chris or Shanann. I'm thinking about the black garbage bags. So if he had put black garbage bags, unless he was wearing gloves, obviously, but some smear prints were on this, or the inside of those blue gloves, those nitrile gloves. Why didn't they test that? That's basic forensic or basic detective knowledge. You can extract fingerprints from the inside of those rubber gloves. But they obviously did not think about this. So where are those gloves? I hope they're still preserved. And in those rubber gloves, you're sweating, especially if you're under pressure, like digging up graves or killing people. You're sweating. This is all DNA. DNA could be in those rubber gloves or nitrile gloves. That's
You
beyond
know,
me.
I'm happy this document has so many mistakes because this waiver and guilty plea is void in so many places for so many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, let them bury themselves with those mistakes.
Yeah. Okay, so, well, they held on to something they didn't have. Evidence that has not been tested could be subjected to a DNA test. Yes. This case includes DNA evidence that should be preserved. No. So they did not. What they basically saying is they did not have any DNA from anything. And because they didn't have any DNA of anything, there's no reason to preserve that because it's non-existent. The defendant was found guilty or pleaded guilty is ticked to the following crimes, and then they just repeat all the charges. Evidence log provided in discovery, or there is no physical evidence in this case. Oh, I wonder why they did not tick that box.
Yeah,
I
that
really
would have
wonder.
been that would have been the definitive proof they are losers.
Absolute losers. So, evidence log provided in discovery. Oh, yeah. Probably some evidence we don't see, but they have, right? But keep in mind, he's allowed to get all of his documents without any charge. So, another box is ticked. The defendant agrees to that, and the court orders that law enforcement may discard, destroy, or return all items of evidence set forth on the attached log, and that evidence will be released according to the law enforcement agency's procedures, and the defendant waives any right to further notification before evidence is released. So, what that means is they can basically destroy, return, discard all items of evidence attached in the evidence log, which is in the discovery. Um, he's waiving his right to any further notification that they release some stuff, thinking about medical stuff, right? So he's not getting notified if they do such thing, either destroy or release. A photo ID is required for released evidence. The representative of the defendant who may collect the property is Ronnie Watts. Thank God for that.
Who may collect if there is something.
Well, Ronnie was repeatedly asking for his phone and they wouldn't give it to him. Right? So why? I mean, I know firsthand that I was asking for my aunt and uncle's bracelets, phones, wallets, and they gave me the bracelets and their arm wrist bracelets, and they gave me their wallets, but no phones, in case there is evidence coming up in the future and they might need to take a second look. This is what the detective told me. His exact words were, "We have to keep it for forever." So I do see them not giving out the phone, but everything else, they should give it to him. They also should release Chris Watts' phone logs because he is saying, where are all these text messages she sent to me the morning of? And if we had his phone logs, we do have his phone logs from work, but we don't have from his personal phone. So another box that's not ticked is the defendant objects to the disposition of certain items of evidence in this case. So go ahead and put everything in the trash bin. Box is not ticked, as indicated on the attached evidence log by underlining. I'm not reading any further because I don't know what CRS 18.1.11.01 is.
And what is writing? What we see? Log not
Log not
provided
provided with
with
paperwork.
paperwork.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
that means this is page 9 of 9. So they are stating, where was it? That he says log not provide. So the evidence log is not provided with this document. So
Exactly.
they referring to the discovery. Where was it? They are referring to the here evidence log provided in discovery. And he just mentions it down here that it's not
Okay.
provided with
Okay.
this. They can do that. That's not a problem. Because they
Yeah. But
mention it here, right? Evidence log provided in discovery.
okay. But I understand. There is something not logical in the second ticked box paragraph. The law enforcement may discard, destroy, or return. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
see a contradiction. Discard, destroy, I understand. Or return. I mean, they have they have full power. I mean, how do they decide if they return the items when they have the power to discard or destroy? It, something doesn't match up.
Yeah, absolutely not.
It is either return, and we know that for sure that that would be the most, you know, normal procedure, or discard and destroy. But or return, I don't get it. Sorry.
Well, returning obviously would be things such as phone, wallet, bracelets, necklaces, personal items that is not of evidence, right? So what do they want with, let's say they had his wedding ring. What sort of evidence is a wedding ring? It
Okay,
has
but
no value evidence wise.
okay,
These are things they would give out.
they are given full power to discard it,
Yes.
according to this paragraph.
But I think what they actually wanted is that DNA and evidence like DNA or the swabs or the fingernail clippings they took or stuff like that. They wanted something in there that gives them the power to destroy those things. Because if he ever um, appeals that, which he can, um, at least the main charges, then they would have to provide everything new. But with this, they can say, "Oh, you signed it. You did not object to the disposition of certain items. It's lost or whatever."
If I would be in the
Great.
position to,
Hmm?
if I would be in the position to choose what to get back, I would go for the personal phone and the full autopsy report.
Yeah, I mean, he has the right to do all these things. He has the right to obtain any document he wants. I know so many prisoners, they actually study the law and they get really good at it. And they pull their own stuff. They write to the district attorneys, they get a public defender. They even have people or legal advisors in prison that help them with writing or obtaining their stuff. So he can do all of these things. The thing is, the question is, why didn't he already? And this is what weighs heavily on me. The why. Why wouldn't he do that? And this is where I'm, going back thinking that bombshell information lady was some sort of involved in this plea.
You bet it is. You bet.
Maybe they, and I'm only theorizing here, so that's not a fact at all what I'm going to say. Maybe she did provide bombshell information. But if you think about it, he loved her, right? He really loved her. So, and as we know, he wouldn't want anyone to think bad about him or thinking that he's a bad person. And I said that so many times, and I'm going to say it again. In her interview, she said, if you did something to your family, you will destroy my life. And I don't think that he wanted to destroy her life by telling people, she helped me in some way. Or I called her, told her, I don't know what to do, please help me. He trusted her.
Yeah, but if she wanted to not have her life destroyed, maybe she had to not be present in certain places. And he loved her so much that I think he wanted to be present when Shannon got home to confront her.
I don't know.
But
I think she would have put up a fight. She would have put up a fight. Come on, laying there praying? Are you kidding me?
against two people, one holding her and the other strangling her.
I didn't see any marks on that in that interview, by the way.
Okay, but we know that her body was badly decomposed. A bruise is not that deep to see something. Only
Yeah,
the
but
skin.
yes, but I'm thinking if you're fighting for your life in this very moment. So
Mm.
your attacker should have had at least one scratch. I don't know. I've never been attacked in my life, but I don't know. I just don't see. I think there would be some sort of evidence. Some sort of evidence that there was a fight or something. I don't know.
When somebody is confronted uh, suddenly without knowing the aggressor is present, he or she has no much room to react. The element of surprise is shocking.
I don't know.
I shared something.
What?
I have shared something.
Yep, just give me a second. Bombshell
Okay.
evidence was same day as the grave was prepared and ready to be found, which is suspicious. Person who tipped them off is involved. CW was never going to say a word till those texts came in. Exactly. Yeah. So now I see the chat, you guys. Yeah, this is what I was trying to say. I don't think she lied when she said to him, if you did something to your family, you're going to destroy my life. But I think she worded it differently. I think if she says something, and again, I'm only theorizing, um, something to the effect of, if this comes out that I helped you disposing your the bodies or whatever, you are going to destroy my life. And this is what he didn't want. And
Yes,
this is
but
just my personal opinion. And I
or
think his defense knew that, and the district attorney knew that on the 26th of August. Keep in mind, all this interview stuff and her phones and pings and whatever there was all happened before the defense drafted that plea agreement. So, what if they discussed some sort of deal to keep her out of it? You know, this why bombshell information. And there was no bombshell information, obviously, because we didn't get to hear it. So what if they were saying, listen, there's a way. If you are going to plead guilty to all the charges, we're not going to involve her in the investigation or anywhere. And yeah, she's free, and you're not going to destroy her life. And
yeah,
if you
but
don't,
all
you're going to destroy her life. This is also the reason she was in that freaking hallway. And this is
all
probably, when we believe what he's saying, yeah, this is probably when he came to his senses, her smirking at him, and then he wanted to go back to the judge. Why would he want to go back to the judge? Because there was some sort of something going on between them. This is just my opinion, but it's just weird.
NK had to do was to stay away of his house. She had nothing to do inside, ever. In fact, she had nothing to do in his life. If she was a decent woman, she would have waited to see the divorce paper.
Yeah, come on. We all know that was a lie from the get-go. He never
and to,
made a secret about that he was married. She knew that from day one.
and to tell that she wanted him to get back to Shannon while sending nude photos.
I'm sorry, say that again. I'm sorry.
I was saying, in Dave's style, that she said that he asked what's to get back to his wife while sending nude photos to him.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yes,
She's just, I
yeah.
don't know. So the FBI, CBI, Baumhofer letter guilty. Party escaped without telling the public. Remember the woman who helped clean up after the death of his fiancée? They gave her a break, yet they told the public. Yeah, it all depends. What did she get? I don't know which of the two cases you're talking about, Jen. Was it either the Frazee case, or are you talking about the Suzanne Murphy case? Look at what's her name? Um, that case. It was proven, or she admitted to I can't remember her name. Was it Kelsey Barrett? She admitted to smash that woman's head in with a baseball bat so badly that she lost her teeth. What did she get? 16 months? That's it.
The answer to the first question is yes, because she provided information.
Yep. I think so too. And the you also got to keep in mind that the main public is not interested in all these little details like we are in the true crime community. They are just pleased that they have the main guy. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna share your screen.
okay. I played a little with a frame from that footage, and as you can see, it, her outfit is made of dark blue jeans and black sweater, and the same thing here. I don't know if you can see clearly, but just an observation. I
Does she have rolled up sleeves in that interview? If you go back for a second.
yes, but
So that's
not
a long sleeve, or is it like, you know,
to me. It looks like a long sleeve with the sleeve rolled up.
okay. In that interview, like I said, I didn't watch it to the end. I only watched parts. Do we see her getting up?
I don't remember.
Hold on. I'm gonna
I don't think so. No.
I uploaded that as well. I'm so glad Plunder um did that for us. Oh, hold on a sec. Oh yeah, that's definitely rolled up sleeves. Let me just check if she's getting up at some point. Do we see that? Um, yes, she does. Hold on. I show you. Not very good, but that image, but still. Yeah, I don't know. I think, in my opinion, she's wearing some sort of baggy jeans, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so too.
Hold on, I show you. Just gonna remove you real quick, okay?
Yes, yes.
Here. So that's definitely rolled up sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we cannot really tell if it's baggy
No.
because maybe you wanna enhance that photo a little bit.
Yeah, the photo I showed you uh, was brightened and enhanced. So
Yeah.
yeah, but anyway, take it as a detail, not as proof.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but that's definitely rolled up sleeves. You can see that here. It's a little bit further down than here.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's true. That was the first thing when I saw her in that interview. That the first thing I was thinking. She looks rough. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, she was expecting to be arrested. That is the reason
Mhm.
her father was with her.
Well, he gave her a ride, didn't he? Because
Yeah,
she always was thinking, "Oh my God, they're gonna check my truck." Okay, here you go. Just excuse me for 1 second.
sure.
You
I
can
can
keep
feel it.
talking. Don't.
Sure. I have a few observations about plea deals. You know that I have a critical opinion about the American justice system. I made that clear from the day that I presented in short how things work on each level. Of course, there is a lot more information about the subject, but I had a look from the perspective of a simple American citizen, like the majority of you that subscribe to this channel, that one day might be a subject of the system. To me, the plea deals are an unethical, totally wrong method to circumvent true justice. Uh, they look like an under the table cheap deal in a pub. You don't make any deal with a murderer or with an accomplice turned witness. But you know that would mean the law enforcement agencies to have only honest, smart, dynamic employees. It takes a lot of knowledge, talent, dedication to catch a murderer. Uh, some might say it also takes a lot of money to do justice. Well, not necessarily. If you know where to look and what to look for, the murder cases can be solved fast and efficiently. uh, I have to say that the problem that flaws the American justice system lays at its core. I'm talking about the juror system and about defense attorneys. Uh, let me explain what I know in short. Uh, the first part of the problem about the jurors is that you take 12 random citizens that have no prior knowledge about laws and trials and you put them to watch a debate. They are normal, law abiding, decent citizens. The judge is teaching them a crash course about justice. The state and the defense teams go back and forth for days, weeks, even months in the justice arena, each of them playing opposite roles. As you know, a huge quantity of information is thrown at the jurors. Then you send them in a locked room and expect them to come with a valid, unanimous verdict beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't know how many of you saw the movie 12 Angry Men, released in 1957, with Henry Fonda playing the main character. I invite you to watch that movie because it is a good lesson on how the jurors reach a conclusion behind the closed doors. The second part of the problem, closely connected to the jurors, is about the defense attorneys. Their main role should be to do everything in their power for their clients to have a fair trial and to minimize the penalty they receive. Sadly, American people have close knowledge about emblematic trials that angered a nation. I can give you two examples that come into my mind: the O.J. Simpson case and the Casey Anthony case. What happened in those trials? I see a very wrong pattern. For one, the defense attorneys have the easy role. They act relentlessly to seed doubt in the mind of the jurors. Remember, the jurors are selected by the defense too, and usually the defense selects those easy to manipulate jurors. Why is that? Because they will put a Hollywood show in the court of justice for them. Yeah, a show, a masquerade of justice. Because they rehearse with their client what to say, what not to say, how to act, how what to wear, what to when to cry, when to look angered, and so on. Then, when the defense attorneys come to the ramp, they put a more elaborate show in front of the jurors. Again, they know how to speak, how to deceive, and how to manipulate. They bring witnesses that tell stories about their client's past good behavior. They sigh, they sob, they sniffle, remembering events like helping people with disabilities or doing voluntary work for church. You know the drill. All that while the judge says nothing about the cheap theatrical play taking place in his court. Everything is done intentionally to steer the juror's attention away from the facts. Second, and I find that major, eventually the defense attorneys cross the line of the law and turn into accomplices of the murderer. How so? Well, for instance, they hide in cold blood damaging testimonies of their client describing gruesome details of the murders, the premeditation, the people they used to murder, and so on. The attorneys even coach them how to lie if they decide to take the stand. Everything goes under the attorney-client privilege. It is something similar happens when priests are listening to a murder confession before God. Everything stays secret, and the only punishment the sinner gets is 10 Hail Marys and a mandatory donation to the church because somehow God is always poor. An honest defense attorney team, although an oxymoron, should stop representing the client when they have been lied by the POS their client is. Yet they don't. Why should they lose a huge amount of money they get as payment for their bloody services? So I'm asking, and I'm asking yourself, what chance do you have for getting justice in America? Well, if you have money, you get the best sleazy defense attorneys you can afford. If you don't, you end up with a public defense team that either misrepresents you or worse, they act behind your back to throw you in jail for several lives consecutively. Now, I would like to remember everybody that I don't defend Watts. As you know, I avoid calling him by his first name for a reason. He was involved actively in all murders. The only thing missing that is bothering us is to bring to justice the rest of the conspirators and helpers. You might ask yourself, why is the Watts case different from the rest of hundreds of thousands of cases that ended in plea deals? Because This case was more than a single family annihilator that acted mercilessly. It was also about a group that shook hands over the bodies of the victims. A gang with despicable characters motivated by greed, power, control, dark beliefs, and frankly, insanity. They have to pay. We will not shut up. We will not give up. And I will end up paraphrasing the title of a well known documentary. Don't fuck with cats.
I still didn't watch it. It was recommended to me, that Netflix series, right? You're talking about?
Yeah,
I gotta watch it.
I hope you like this photo. I know somebody that will be very happy
Jim.
seeing that seeing seeing that poor lady.
Oh my God, zoom in.
It took me about 10 minutes to do it.
Oh, it's nice. Oh man.
But how about this one? Uh,
What's that?
let me see what we have here. We have some food, some recipes. And here we have God.
Good hint. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna listen to this.
What? No, I finished.
Oh, okay.
I think I said
Leave
enough.
Jim, leave Jim alone.
Yeah,
That
I
harsh.
was, I was too talkative today.
Yeah. No, you weren't. Was quite. I did quite enjoy that. You saved my life because with all this stuff going on. Yeah. Well, everybody has their opinion or theory on what has happened. Um, I went through so many theories in my head, but yeah, that makes me just I don't think she killed the girls. I don't think it's true. I just don't.
Me neither.
I think, was she involved? Yes, some sort, in some way, but and what Dave actually did on his channel when he put up that live stream, when she said, "Oh, they were so little," right? And she's like showing how little they were. So what the hell? Did she do that because, when you think about a young child or a child that age, you do that automatically? Like, I don't know. I don't
I
know.
think, but I'm sure that she saw photos in the house uh, when she came on the 4th of July.
Yeah,
And she might have seen how little they were
I don't know. I think she saw them before.
in flesh.
Yeah. Because they were talking about when I can't remember who asked her that, but if she ever saw the kids or if she ever met the kids, and she said, "Nah, that relationship was not that far yet," and blah blah blah. She would have loved to met the kids. She would have loved to meet the kids, but not at this point in time. But I think that was a lie. I think she saw them before or met them or, you know,
Maybe she saw them in that parking lot.
yeah,
How it?
in the Safeway parking lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that makes me automatically thinking about TM Troy McCoy, our friend. I mean, he's not off the radar for me, to be honest. Something's fishy. I don't know. Maybe it's just a feeling, but something's going on with that guy.
Yeah, at least he knew from what he was about to do,
Right.
at minimum.
Yeah. She's seen videos on Shanann's Facebook. Yes. No doubt about it. But why did NK sit on floor at CW's house? She was playing with them on a different date when Shanann was in Arizona. Yes, that's right, Jody. She says she was sitting on the floor, didn't she? On the day of the birthday party. Wasn't she at the museum or something while he was at the birthday party? Because he asked her if he can buy the Dead Sea Scrolls or something. She stalked Shanann's Facebook so she knew how small they were. Hmm. Didn't she eat pizza with them and the babysitter? Huh?
Never heard of that.
Never heard of that either. Yeah, the airport footage would be very telling. But I don't think they ever pulled it, and it's probably now too late. I don't get why NA would be in a panic outside the house and not knock on Nate's door. He may have seen her and had easy answer. Plus, Nick wanders in so casually, like he knows Nate. It's so odd. I think they knew each other because wasn't NA dog sitting quite a few times in the past? And when they were, when Chris flew over to North Carolina as well. And Nate knows everything. I think she has part to play in what happened. I also think seeing them in Safeway Park lot, she was in area. Troy seems fishy to me. Yeah, to me too. TJ, please read the last report you just read out. Was dated 11th. Okay, let's
No,
go back to that. It's
it,
it's not.
it's the English date.
Yeah, here. It's the day. It's the 6th. The 11th
It's
is the month.
month, day, year.
Mm-hmm. I heard NK in the interview that she had read about the Watts bankruptcy in the newspaper, so she was following them for a while. She had read about the Watts bankruptcy in the newspaper? Oh, I really have to listen to this interview again. It will probably kill my ear on the left as well. Mm,
You have antibiotics.
yeah. She saw or spoke the sitter, the babysitter. So why didn't McKenna say anything about, you know, there was a woman there, maybe in Myrtle Beach with a brown bikini sitting on the beach? Yeah.
I have a small advice for Jen and for other people. She says, for sure, it would be better to leave place, to let place for some doubts. It is not advisable to have strong opinions when there is not enough evidence. Just my 2 cents.
Yeah. Annie, that would be, you would be a rock star. They wouldn't give it to you, though. I don't think so. In the last interview, when they discussed the sitter, slow it down, she says something making it sound she somehow spoke to sitter, saying something like what we were told. Don't remember. I really have to listen to this interview then after this stream because I never heard it her saying, but yeah, I only listen with half of my ear to this woman. I can stand her voice.
Now you know what I felt when I had that interview.
What?
Now you know what I felt after I enhanced that park interview.
Yeah. I find it odd that Nate moved not long after, and then Betty, are they also in witness protection? I don't think they are. What did they provide to be in witness protection?
Yet Nate is sitting on a pile of evidence. He has everything.
She also talks about the girls being dead. They hadn't found them yet. Why did Colback not hear that? On the 16th? In that last interview? But they were found on the 16th?
Can you give us the timeline, the exact timestamp, Rachel, when she said that?
I don't think anyone will go back to that interview to look for a timestamp, Dawn. It's difficult to listen to as it is.
Yeah, maybe after she was seen, more information come to life.
Love to Love God, we already did that. I can't remember when we showed that, Dawn. What live stream was that on? I think that was in the timeline of death, right?
Uh,
When you
uh,
measured the foot length and the
let
height.
me check. Let me check. I think I can put them now.
Oh, that would be great.
Uh,
And Kay texted CW that she was at IMAX when he was at a birthday party, but tells law enforcement she was at a museum with her dad. I find that very suspicious. Okay, I gotta listen to this interview. Obviously, it's too much information I have missed. Can't forget her video from the dunes. She was preparing that for some other reason. Nobody has ever done a video for someone when they are with them. So staged. Right. I never looked at it like this. Private eye. But yes, you're right. Why would she do that if he's there? Weird.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, good. Top reference line. So the person walking out of the garage is 93 to 95% of CW's height.
Yes, the top reference line is at the maximum height of NK.
Mm-hmm. Didn't you do the foot length as well?
Hold on. Yes.
There you go. 86 to 88% of CW's. Yeah, thank you. IMAX was in the museum. Yes, I think I heard that too. Yeah, still weird that her dad had to remind her of where she was. Can't get over how many times she looks straight at the camera. Yeah. Yeah, she's well aware of that camera in the interrogation room. That's why her outbursts like, why? And whatever she does, crying, and the next second she's all back to normal.
She has too many personalities.
Yeah, isn't she bipolar or something?
I think multipolar.
Multipolar. Yeah. All right. Yeah. To wrap this up, I think it's quite shocking when you go into the depth of the plea deal. And so many flaws, and I think that's going back to CW not having effective counsel, in my opinion, because this guy was after a job with the DA. And also, if we can look at this for a second again, where was it? Here. To plead guilty to all charges of first-degree murder if charges if our office somebody should, I don't have time, but somebody should look up this guy and dig a little bit into him.
Yeah, I would be curious how many plea deals he invoked or sent to the DA office in his
Yeah.
life. I think it is routine for them.
I mean, why say in our office?
Because they live in the same room. They have a small building. They don't have enough space.
Yes, but by him saying or writing our office, this makes it look like, they like together, working together somehow. I mean, he is a public defender, and Rourke is the DA. So why say in our office?
Because in Colorado they are a team.
Yeah, right. I forgot. Sorry. I forgot. All right. I've noticed the cracking of her knuckles. Oh, I think that was 5'2". Didn't I can't remember, but didn't Dave do a video on that 5'2" thing? Dave, didn't you do a video on that? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
he knows her in and out.
Ew. Well, she's not an unattractive woman. You know, she's quite beautiful, in my opinion, but not from the inside, obviously.
Yeah, Photoshop does wonders.
5'1" on the charge sheet. So 5'1". That person walking out the garage is not 5'1". How old was she when that when she was taken into custody for what did she do? I think disorderly conduct or something. Too much traffic on that block. Yes. Yeah. But the measurements make her taller. No, if you compare the images of the sand dunes, she's not only 5'1". I don't believe that. The first recording of NK that purse, her not touching it and it looking light in her arm, so sore, and the new one right there touching it, that's in there all of a sudden, just a thought. I have no clue what you mean.
Me neither.
She grew after the charge sheet. Well, Colorado is known for typos, aren't they? Typos and flawless investigations as well. All right. Oh, I forgot to put my cam back on. All
You
right, you
have to
guys.
you have to change the background. You didn't change the background.
Oh, I didn't change the background. Okay. Well, I was in stress going from one live stream to the other. So forgive me if you have the war. Sorry. Wasn't my intention, but I just didn't get to change it. All right, you guys, if you allow me to, I would lay down now and call it a day. Thank you all so much for being here. I cannot even tell you what's going on in the next couple of weeks. I just live day by day and take it as it comes. So if I go live, I go live. If I don't, I apologize. But next Sunday, we have definitely a stream scheduled, and Dawn is gonna tell us a little bit about digital forensics, right?
Yes.
That should be quite interesting. And yeah, with that being said, thank you all so much also for all the encouraging messages I got and the well wishes and prayers my way. Really, really much appreciated. And I hope you're doing okay, all of you. Until we see us next time. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you when that will be. I have to get my ear healed up like pretty quickly because it drives me nuts. If you appreciate more if something's not working, right? Either it's your fingers or your ear or your eye, something, you appreciate everything way more if it's not working. So I'm talking bullshit because I'm tired. So, yeah, I just hope you guys stay safe and stay healthy. And yeah, I send you all much love and light. And if we don't see each other next week during the week or on Saturday, then we definitely see each other on Sunday. And I'm quite curious about what Dawn had prepared for us. So, yeah, prayers to you all people in the world with what's going on. And have a good day. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Relax. Don't take things too seriously. It's not good. And yeah, much love to you all. See you very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.